Good morning. This is a reflection on lesson 258 in A Course in Miracles. It says, let me remember that my goal is God. Let me remember that my goal is God. I had to look at the title because I always forget the titles because it's all about the lesson. But this one reminds me, it says, we'll remember to overlook all the senseless aims of our lives. Like, what are we trying to do? What are we thinking we're here to do? It's all about, to me, it was all about remembering that everything is a thought, and everything that God is love, which is not thought. It's the most pure form of, sorry, I get my tea. It's the most pure form of feeling, sensation, basically everything but thought. And so it's like, let me remember that that's always my goal. That's like nothing I could conceive of to do or achieve or anything in this lifetime is going to compare with that. Ooh, it's morning light. So for me lately, I go through these kind of spirals of, I don't even know how to say. It's like you know how it's hard to characterize something when you're in the midst of it, and it's only upon reflection that you can really do justice to any description or applying any meaning to it that feels true and authentic. Because when you're in the midst of it, you're in the midst of experience. You haven't really reflected or integrated that experience into knowledge and wisdom. So given all that, what it feels like right now is it feels like a spiral. Oftentimes my cycles or my path of experience feels like spirals where things come back around and I move forward, things come back around and I move forward, if that makes sense. So things aren't just strictly linear, like, oh, went through that, done, moving on. It's like, no, you might, like for me, I go through like maybe a big wave of something, and then there are like the aftershocks that come along later, like things circle back and I'm like, oh, I thought I dealt with that. Oh, there's a little bit of a remnant left. I think that's natural. It's just I haven't totally maybe moved through the fullness of something. And for the past several years, maybe my whole life, it's been one of moving from identifying deeply with thoughts to the point where I was so asleep and enmeshed in thought. Like I believed I was the thoughts, and I believed every thought. Like every thought that came in, I believed it was true for me. Like, oh, that's me. Like I identified with it. To one now of like recognizing like I'm a little less asleep perhaps, and recognizing, just seeing thoughts for what they are, and coming to the point of I don't have to believe any thought. And this book also has helped this year just keep reiterating that. Maybe the spirals are getting faster, like I'm on the end of the spiral. I don't know, where things come around until it bleeps out of existence. Or maybe the spiral goes the other way, where it comes around farther and farther until it bleeps out. I don't know. Both are true. Everything's true. And thoughts, like now it feels like I know I don't have to believe every thought. And when I have a thought, they're easier to recognize for what they are, like immediately in the moment, and just laugh it off. Or what am I supposed to learn from still having this thought pattern, or recognizing it for what it is, and then I know how to work with it, or just let it go like any other thought. The thing that where I'm at right now is not identifying, like trying to get at the subtlety of some of the stickier thoughts, like how to get at something where I may not even be aware. Maybe it's like wondering, which is a thought, what am I not yet aware of? Like, what sticky, icky, sticky thoughts are there that I'm identifying with that I don't know I'm identifying with yet? So I had that thought while thinking about this lesson and reflecting on this lesson of like, wow. So all these senseless aims, yeah, I get it that this lesson talks about like, I'm just going to come back to love, just come back to love, just come back to love. Well, when I truly practiced that in the course of this lesson, it was something kind of, something very subtle shifted in that it's basically, it doesn't matter because just the wondering and the searching for what I'm still sticking to or what's still sticking to me is a thought. And all that matters is continuously coming back to love. So that's when I flip this spiral analogy from thought to love. It's like maybe thought I was on the big part of the spiral and I was coming back to love like too far, few and far between. And now I'm on the, okay, keep coming back to love, keep coming back to love, so that then I will only exist in love. And who cares what thoughts come and go and whether I identify with them or not, because none of it's a problem when you reside in love just perpetually. None of it matters. None of it matters. Like, it only matters if, to me, I feel like if there's something that's still binding me that I'm still attaching to, like the resistance is the key, the word resistance. That was another thought I had for this lesson. So it only is important, I think, to look at is if I feel the resistance in my body. Like, where do I feel the resistance? Because thoughts are coming and going. I don't have to care about any of that if I keep turning to love and use my body as a, like I keep saying, the tuning fork. Like, what am I resonating with, or what feels like resistance to that resonance? And looking at the resistance as a tool, as a teaching tool. Like, oh, orient there, go into that resistance and try to understand it in order to release it. Because it's there to teach me something. It's there to unbind me, for me to unbind from it, whatever that it is, so that I can keep opening up to love, keep orienting to love, keep going down that spiral of like, more love, 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 love. I don't know why that analogy works for me right now. Analogies come and go too. They're just thoughts. So anyway, I really liked this lesson for that reason. I'm really liking the sunlight in the morning. I have an early client this morning. I also wanted to share, what time is it? Okay, I have a little bit of time. I don't know why, part of my journey, I think about when we talk about reflecting, this whole year with these lessons, as I call them reflections, because it's like, why not do something daily that puts me in this space of, well, love and unbinding from thought, you know? And I think where it's led me is, it's like, you know how your breadcrumbs are perfectly dropped just for you, and mine are perfectly dropped just for me. Everything is just perfect, you know? Even the bad stuff is perfectly dropped in our experience so that we can move through it and learn. And I think right now, this whole unbinding and coming back to love, something in the last couple months came into my awareness, because I'm always trying to, which is partly, you know, a problem, probably. Nothing's a problem, but it's partly my journey of, well, what do I resonate with as a practice that might help me unbind, right? Sometimes I feel like when I'm getting stagnant with my unbind, I just love that word right now, unbinding, because it's not like I'm trying to fix anything. It's a letting go. I want to just let go of everything. And I have let go of a lot in the last several years, but there's still more to surrender, to release, to let go. And I think it does have to do with um, those subtle, sticky thought forms, the beliefs that I don't even know. They're so deeply ingrained that I don't even know their beliefs. And what it's almost like getting, like, I'm on this path to, it feels like at this moment in time, that's like I said, I only know what I know at this moment. And I can only later reflect on this moment and be like, oh, that's what it really was. So, with all that said, what I feel like right now is this moving toward this unbinding from a sense of identity, from a sense of selfness, a sense of the doer and the achiever of things in this world, and just identity. You can have a personality without deep identity, if that makes sense, and maybe it doesn't make sense. So this unbinding from identity, because what does it get me? I've already cognitively recognized it doesn't really get me anything, right? I don't need it. I already recognize that I don't need it. From one day I'm different than the next. Some thread of me might seem consistent to the outside people looking in. And I'm questioning now, what is that consistent thread to me? What do I believe about myself? My identity? Who am I? Like, I've been questioning this for years, but something very subtle has been happening. And anyway, long story short, what I'm going to do is something that came into my awareness that seemed, you know, how you're just supposed to follow your fascinations and your greatest excitement because it resonates and that leads you to that next breadcrumb. Well, what deeply resonated and I'm so excited for is a darkness retreat. I've already done sensory deprivation and salt floats and all of those. And to me, I love them so much. And they do something for me, you know. And so this darkness retreat, and I'm looking them up online and I'm like, oh my God, people are charging thousands of dollars for darkness retreats where they give you a place, a room, like a child-proof room so you can't hurt yourself, and food, and they feed you, you know, and so it's, well, you know, I'm not saying they shouldn't be charging that. I just don't want to pay that right now. I'm being very frugal right now. So I'm like, well, heck, I can do that at home. I have darkness at home. So I chose a weekend where no one will be home. I can be by myself from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then my husband gets home from his thing on Sunday evening, and that's when I know it'll be done. I'll ask him to just knock on my door. So I'll be in a windowless room, and I'll have meals prepped and all ready to go, and it's near a bathroom, and I can make that whole experience completely pitch black. And I know this sounds crazy. I'm not telling many people, although I just said it here. So because I don't expect people to understand. I don't need them to understand. I'm just really excited, and that's why I'm sharing it. I'm really excited for the experience of all that sensory deprivation and being alone with this, and saying, knock, 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 what else is left that's ready to release, unbind? Because I feel like in my daily life, I'm like, how can I tweak every day a little bit? You know, I'm always tweaking things and feeling into things about how can I have a daily life and still surrender, let go, do all this inner work in the midst of daily life without having to go away to retreats all the time, without having to separate myself from my life in order to do this work, because I want to embody doing the work in the midst of living, right? Because when you go away, you just come back to your life, and then you got to figure out, oh man, how do I integrate what happened there with this? So I thought, you know what, maybe this is a new phase for me of doing these types of things in the midst of daily life and seeing what happens. Who knows? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to start small, just a little 3-day darkness retreat. The hard part will keeping the cats from scratching on my door because they'll be like, they'll know I'm in there, and maybe that'll be part of the unbinding from frustration and the annoyance of that sound until they give up. That'll be funny, actually. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen soon. I'm really excited. And they all had to do with this lesson of, that's why I guess I'm sharing it now, is because it had to do with this subtlety between like those thoughts, recognizing thoughts are thoughts. And I fully recognize that. I have no problem with I guess my problem now is, because I don't want to say I have no problem. That's why I'm doing this, because I feel like there's still some inkling of a holding on, even if it's just the holding on to the idea that there's something to let go of. So there's still something there. I can feel it. It's very subtle. It's very like energetic. And I'm just going to explore with a 3-day darkness retreat what that might be. And I've also thought ahead because I'm so clever. That's part of what I'm dealing with lately, is my own cleverness and calling it out for what it is. Of thinking ahead. I'm always thinking ahead. It's this, again, another energetic holding on from hypervigilance, I'm sure, from childhood. I'm having a hot flash, by the way. I gotta check the time. Okay, we're good. And of thinking ahead to plan for every potential outcome so I won't be disappointed and all of that. I still know that's a thing I do. And now I can laugh about it. But I did do that with this darkness retreat. I was like, what if nothing happens? What if I'm so disappointed with having spent 3 days in darkness? And then immediately I was like, dude, shut up. It's going to be exactly what it's meant to be. And if I'm just there, that's the whole point of this. It's going to be exactly what it's designed to be, which is like removing all distraction, getting frickin' bored, not being able to run off to the next shiny thing. And all those shiny things are just going to be in here. So I'm sure, do some amount of that until I just exhaust myself. And remember, there was a reflection I did recently where I just said, have you ever been just sick of your own shit? Like, I'm going to be I just love it. And I love that I'm even saying how I'm going to be, because that's just part of my own shit, is projecting myself into the future. So see, it's all coming up. It's all ready to blah. And if it doesn't, that's going to be okay too, which is also a thought of like trying not to let myself down. So even that is not a problem. It gets pretty crazy in here sometimes when I say it out loud, but I feel like the more I talk to people, none of this is crazy because it's all such a common thing for us who are on this path of waking up to all of this that we've been asleep to for so long. So like this used to just happen and then I would feel the effects. Now I recognize that it's happening and I can laugh at it and be like, okay, what do we want to do with this information? Everything's information. So that's where I'm at on this journey. But in reflection, I may decide that's not where I'm at. Bye.